Bonjour, Mishko Paganan Quaina Dishnakas Mungdodam. Hi everybody, my name is Sandy Boucher, Red Thunderbolt Woman of the Loon Clan and a proud member of Seine River First Nation in Northern Ontario, and I want to welcome you back to my home for this week's Tuesday teaching. So I'm actually really looking forward to doing this video for you because I get to talk about one of my absolute favorite topics and share something incredibly not only personal but powerful with you, and I really hope that it adds to your journey and gives you some ideas of what you can do in your world. So first and foremost, you've heard me talk about my mom all the time. And my mom was an incredibly wise and beautiful and kind woman. She wasn't educated. She had a grade 4 education, but she had a way of looking at the world that truly has been a blessing for my journey. My mom taught me that there was a teaching in everything and that we could create, for lack of a better way of putting it, heaven here on earth if we make the right choices. So for example, my mom believed that the greatest way to live is to live in a world and to live a life surrounded by love. And of course, if you're lucky enough to have your loved ones with you, well, that would be the ideal scenario. But even when you don't, your home should be filled with things that remind you of love. Now, for example, if you look behind me over here, you've got my collection of frogs. I did a whole other video, it's on my YouTube channel, about my love for frogs and how they make me laugh and giggle and how everyone has their own personality. Over here, ta-da! You can see my grandchildren, my daughter, and down here pictures of my grandkids. Totally surround me no matter where I go. I love the fact that people that come to my home always comment on how warm and comforting it is. And I believe that's because of the love that surrounds me. Actually, if you look at this plaque on the wall, that is the plaque my father received when he retired from work at the sawmill. So he had to retire early. He passed away in 81. So if I looked on the date, that's probably 1979 that he received that plaque. And I don't have a lot of things of my dad. So that reminds me of how hard he worked and that work ethic that he passed on to me. So that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. And today I wanted to share with you something that I have that to me totally and beautifully represents the love that my parents shared. They didn't have a dime to their names. They worked hard every single day. They loved us completely. But that was nothing compared to how much they loved each other. My parents were soulmates. They believed that no matter what life threw at them, they could handle it as long as they had each other. And after my dad passed away, my mom kept him close for the rest of her time here on the planet. Maybe that's why I find it so easy to keep them close as well. I've had that example. So I wanted to share this with you today, and trust me, because when you see it, it's going to look a little weird. So here it is. Look at this. Like, it looks like a club for a very short but strong cake person. So the story behind this. My dad worked at the sawmill. And that meant hard hat and work boots every single day. He was often outside, even in 40 below weather. To help him stay warm and safe from things like frostbite, he had to dress appropriately. And one of the things he absolutely loved was the wool socks that my mom would hand knit for him. Now, I don't have any of her homemade wool socks. I have a wool sock here, and I can hear my dad screaming that this is nothing compared to the ones that mom would make for him. Now, The problem is work boots have the safety cap on the toe, and they often have a guard in the heel, and after you wear these for a while, the heel would wear out. So what would happen, my mom not only knit the socks, but she would darn them, right? So she would take the sock and she'd put it on her hand, and she'd take her darning needle and try to repair the hole. The problem is that's her hand under there, and that's gonna hurt. And she stabbed herself often, and my dad would watch this, and he knew that she made him those socks because she loved him, and she darned them because she loved him. So my dad took it upon himself to prove to my mom that he loved her just as much. My dad, some people call it carving. My dad called it whittling. And he went into the bush, and he was always whittling something out of a branch. Well, he got a piece of wood, and he whittled this. And it's not smooth. You can tell it's handmade. He made this so that Mom could take the sock and pull it down to the heel that needed repairing, and she could hang on to the handle and darn the sock without ever having to worry about stabbing herself. My mom needed this because she loved my dad. She had it, and it made her job easier because my dad loved my mom. This sits on the bookcase in my living room, not far from the couch where I relax every evening. And I know often my friends have asked me, what is that thing? And if there's someone who has earned the right to hear my story, as the elders say, then I'm happy to share my parents' love with them. So today, I guess the question is, think back not on how a relationship ended. I enjoyed many loves in my life, and it doesn't matter how they ended. I can celebrate and hang on to that first date, or that great date, or that fantastic trip, whatever it was. I have memories of many people in my condo, and I do that so I can live surrounded by love. I hope you make the same choice. I hope your condo is filled with pictures of your kids, or artwork from your grandchildren, or memories of a great date or two. Until next week, I love you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.